This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Vegas, and Sony's press conference for E3 was much better than I expected. I have been on record for saying that I believed that Sony was going to intentionally just mail it in because I felt like they were more interested in just their own agenda more than these big conferences, especially after they said they're not even going to do a presentation at Gamescom, which is probably their biggest venue, since they tend to do much better in foreign regions than their main competition, Microsoft. But hey, they actually came through and it was a pretty interesting show. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of back and forth about Sony because of stuff that they showed, but I honestly have to say that it was a really solid presentation. I know a lot of people are saying it was the best. I think that's because you weren't expecting anything. Like with me, I wasn't really expecting anything, and they showed me some interesting stuff. So therefore, it rated a little higher probably than I normally would have. In normal circumstances, I still say it would be great. However, you know, one, they gave people what they wanted. Two, they did what Sony generally does, and they made sure to appeal to their broad fan base, you know, going out there, putting all types of games from all types of genres for all types of people. But the most important thing I think that Sony did that made it better than their normal stuff is actually non-content related, and more to the point that this was a more this conference flowed well. There were a couple of dead spots, but not like normal. Sony is very famous for having huge dead spots in their conference, and they actually didn't have those huge dead spots like they normally do. Like when they were talking about the Sony View and all that, that was kind of a dead spot, but they didn't go overboard with it. You know, and I guess from my personal perspective, I could say the Disney Infinity stuff was probably a dead spot, but for the most part, it was just okay, content, and there we have it. Now, they did go overboard with the exclusive stuff, talking about all the stuff that they were going to have exclusive coming from third parties and things like that. But that was to be expected. See, Sony kind of set themselves up for the way that their press conference went, because they came through and said, yo, our first parties are going to be sparse. We're going to have a lot of third party exclusives. They didn't lie in that aspect. But when they did show some first party stuff, it was interesting. The Last Guardian, something that people have been waiting for a very long time. They, you know, showed that. They showed gameplay, got a lot of grown men hyped, got a lot of grown men crying. You know, that was a pretty cool way to kick things off. One of the highlights, and probably the highlight for me, had to be that Horizon Zero Dawn game by Guerrilla Games. You know, a company that's been synonymous with a game like Killzone, which has been arguably called one of the lesser first-party shooters out there in the AAA market. They're now going a different direction than they normally are, and they're doing a different type of game, and it really looks good. It really looks entertaining. I definitely am looking forward to this whenever it will come out. They talked about the Final Fantasy remake, which, you know, it's cool. I'm not extremely hyped, but I think it's a cool thing. I thought it was a cool fan service type of thing. But as I was saying in the chat when someone was talking about it and they were talking about how excited they were, I was just like, aren't you more ready for the newer stuff that Square could bring to the table? But people are really hyped about the Final Fantasy VII thing. Okay, cool. I think it's going to be neat seeing it in a different light, but I honestly want Final Fantasy 15 more, especially after playing the demo, to be quite honest. So, but you know, pretty cool. Hitman, I was excited about that. I actually liked Hitman Absolution. I thought it was the less Hitman of all Hitman games, but for just a standard action adventure, it was pretty cool. In my book, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. What else did we get from Sony? Sorry if I get forgetful, but it's been a tiring day, long, tiring day. I still got some videos to make, but I'm gonna save those for tomorrow because, again, I'm very, very tired. You know, Sony, they announced the Kickstarter for Shenmue, which is pretty cool. They gave them, you know, an opportunity to make money, and I believe last I saw, someone had mentioned in Prodigy's chat during his live stream that it was it was getting closer to $1 million already after being announced. Shenmue is a series that people have been really into, and they're looking forward to. People are willing to donate money to get that third game out there, so that's pretty cool of Sony to give it that boost that it needed. Saw some Street Fighter 5. Okay, cool. There was another game, and it's slipping my mind now, that they showed before Street Fighter 5. But we saw No Man's Sky, got a little bit more context to it. Not a lot, but a little more context to the No Man's Sky thing. Media Molecules showed their new game Dream, which I thought was kind of creepy. You know, the whole getting into your dreams thing, kind of creepy, but okay. Cool. The Final Fantasy, the World of Final Fantasy thing, it was cute. Wasn't that great to me, at least not that appealing. But again, it played into that whole, this is a game that fits a certain type of gamer, and I think that's what Sony was just trying to do, just spread things out. 4 new Devolver games was something that they showed Destiny, which I know pisses a lot of you off, but hey, as a fan of the game, I was hyped to see that in the press conference. Can't wait to see more of that. Assassin's Creed Syndicate was shown. They showed gameplay of the sister, which was pretty cool. And then as they got into the later half, it kind of trickled down, slowed down a little bit. You saw that Disney Infinity game, like I mentioned. And you saw Star Wars Battlefront again, which was pretty cool. There's going to be some content for that. Saw Black Ops 3, which I feel like Sony only did to like emphasize the whole thing that now they get the exclusive rights. Well, not exclusive, but they get the early rights to the DLC content and all of that. So I just felt like they just wanted to, that was their jab. For the last couple of years, they've been kind of jabbing Microsoft. This year, they kind of avoided the open verbal jabs and instead chose to use David Vonderhaar and Call of Duty to poke at the Microsoft platform. So that was Sony's really, did you have to go there moment of the year. Especially since I could care less about Call of Duty. And it seems like the reaction was the same from a lot of people. But as things wound down, they got to Uncharted 4. I love the fact that it failed. They reset it and then they did it again. Gameplay looked good. It was very cute to see dude like laugh at the end, you know, like, okay, finally I got through it. You know, moments like that are cool when they don't abandon, they keep going and they let things ride out, and then you eventually get the presentation. I thought that was cool. But overall, Sony had a really good show. Again, not everything's going to appeal to everybody. Not everything appealed to me. But I thought that they showed a lot. They kept it about, you know, what they were showing, and not about the numbers and all that stuff like that, making too much hoopla. They just did a clean show, a cleaner show than I've seen them do in a while. Overall, I think today we've had a really solid E3, but I'll get into that in a separate video real quick. But yeah, overall, I think they closed out E3 in a good fashion to leave everybody satisfied with the day as a whole. So, good job, Sony. Now we have to wait until this Paris show to see another presentation from them, because they're not doing a presentation at Gamescom this year. But anyway, my voice is clearly failing me. I'm going to get out of here. As always, you guys hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Vegas, and I'm out. Deuces.